In the last guide to command blocks, I went over repeat command blocks and chain command blocks, along with what it means for chain command blocks to be set to conditional and always active versus unconditional and redstone. I also showed you some practical uses with these chain command blocks and how you can make building more efficient. This time we're going to be going over more on command conditions and also proper targeting. And what you'll be able to do by the end of this is make a unique door that can only open to specific things. A regular chicken won't work, but a tagged one will. Targeting can be really important with specific builds that you're doing with commands. For example, let's say you've got two mobs, a witch and a zombie, and you only want to kill one of them. But the only thing I've covered so far is how to kill everything. This means every entity. Not only is this going to kill both of these mobs, it's also going to kill other things like paintings and boats. This is where the targeting really comes in handy. That previous command block still has kill at E for every entity, but we've added square brackets and type zombie. If I remove this, type just means what the entity is, really. So we put zombie in here. And we don't want to kill the witch, so we press this button, and only the zombie dies. The same goes for just the witch. Of course, this doesn't only just work with at E, so you're not targeting everything every time. It also works with things like at N, which is the nearest entity. So we only want to kill the nearest skeleton here. Because there's two of them, it's going to kill this front one first. And then the back one, because it's the only one left. Now this one's going to look a bit more complex compared to what I've just shown, but I'll slice it up in bits to make it easy to digest. In short, what we've got here is a command block that's being run a few blocks away from it. That's running on this spot over here, rather than the spot itself, or the block itself. And it's checking for any player within that area. And if there is, it's going to change the block above itself to be a lit redstone lamp. And if there isn't, it's an unlit redstone lamp. Just to demonstrate, I flick this on because I just need redstone. And whenever I touch this fake glass that I've made, the redstone lamp will light. So let's look into this command a bit. Execute positioned. Well, what does execute mean? Well, as per the wiki, execute executes another command but allows changing the executor, changing the position and angle it is executed at, adding preconditions and storing its result. So it basically allows you to specify where or how the command block is being run before it actually runs the proper command you want. Which is why here, execute positioned, and these coordinates are where the command block is running its command. And now we've got if. A very simple word, but it can be confusing in commands. We want to specify that we are searching for an entity. The ones that are probably the most user-friendly to start off with is block and entity, since they already kind of relate to things we've done in the past. So we're checking if an entity, which is specified as a player with at A, is within a certain distance. Now distance is one of the many things you can do here. Same with name, which specifies the entity even further if you want to get specific, but we don't need that for now. We just want to get the distance. And you'll see that there's two dots and then one. You can think of these as the greater than and lesser than symbols, which also checks if it's equal to. So from these coordinates, if there is any player within a 1 block distance, then it's going to run set block to the lit redstone lamp. And you can see here, we've inverted the dots, so it's 1 dot dot. So anything beyond 1 is going to turn off the redstone lamp here. And that explains how this works. Now you don't just need a value on the double dots. You can actually do a value with 2 dots and another value. This is essentially giving it a range of blocks to search from. Here in this first command block, it's pretty much exactly the same as the last one, but this is different. This is going to check on that glass block if the player is 1 block away from it to 2 blocks away from it, and anywhere in between. However, if the player is 2 blocks or further away from it, or closer than 1 block away from it, then it's going to turn off the redstone lamp here. If we turn it on, you see that just touching the outside blocks here is lighting it up. But if I get too close to the glass, it's going to turn off. The same as if I get far away from it. That's pretty much what it means to have a range. Now there's more that you can do with execute, of course. It's not just limited to positioned, or even just checking if a player is near a certain block. Previously I showed you that you could just get rid of an item, well specifically get rid of an item here, and the comparator will check if the command block was successful, and it'll turn off when it's next updated. And chain command blocks will help just crush that space down, so you can do all your command in one line. Now this is where execute is being used again. If I throw a gold ingot on the floor, and I press this button, it's turned into a gold block. This might look a bit confusing, but let me just make this easier that you don't need to know what any of this is. It's probably for a much later video, and I still have a hard time understanding it myself at the moment. So what we're doing here is execute if entity. Now it's a bit confusing because we've not said if the entity is close to anything or anything specific really. That's just because we're checking if the entity exists or not. So even if you did like if entity creeper, this will activate as a successful command if any creeper is in the world. So we're just checking for a gold ingot here. That's specifically as a dropped item. When it's successfully detected that with a conditional chain command block, it executes at the coordinates of the item to run set block on its own command, on its own position, to a Minecraft gold block. Then immediately after, because we don't want it to exist, we kill it. So that you drop it, it turns into a gold block. Now I'm sorry if that was a little confusing because I'm using some more new stuff, but now we're going to go back to the old stuff. This is something that I added in the last video, and if you've been following along with some of the previous stuff in this video, you might be able to understand this a little easier now. This is the same command that summons a pillar when you spawn a creeper. And if we look inside, it's executing at any creeper and filling the space above it with stone, and then immediately kills the creeper. Now the reason we're doing at rather than positioned is because we're getting the coordinates of an entity. Positioned is for solid coordinates in the world. And now we're getting into one of my favourite things with command blocks, mainly just from random command block projects I've done, and it was similar to that whole magic spell showcase I did last video. Tags were the main reason that whole thing is even able to work. So we've got tag, exotic plunger, add, subscribe. If I just add a button to it real quick, it says it's added a tag to me. Well, what is a tag? Well, we can see if I do /tag exotic plunger list, there's 3 options as add, remove, and list, but we just want to view it. Saying I've now got the subscribe tag. As for what is a tag, it's pretty much a deeper way to identify and organize items or entities. I've got various command blocks here. I've given myself 3 spawn eggs. A wither skeleton spawn egg, a tagged wither skeleton spawn egg that I made myself, and a tagged pillager spawn egg, also made myself. These 2 buttons are going to activate these 2 command blocks. This one kills anything with the subscribe tag, and this one only kills wither skeletons that do not have the subscribe tag. Now you see there's no wording that says like not anywhere. That's because the exclamation mark here in front of any targeting thing you're using is going to mean it's going to check for anything that is not that. So let's place down these eggs. We're going to place 2 normal wither skeletons in the corner, a tagged one in the back middle, and a pillager in front with a tag. And we're only going to kill the tagged ones. I forgot I gave myself the tag. I need to get rid of that tag again before I die. But you can see that anything with the tag is a lot easier to target. And killing anything without the tag is also easy. But of course you can remove tags, just as I did. If I spawn in a tagged wither skeleton, killing it is going to be fine, because this is the one that kills all tagged enemies. If I spawn one, remove its tag and try to kill tagged ones. It's not going to do anything. And this is how I made that specific door that I showed at the beginning. I've got a regular chicken spawn egg and a tagged chicken spawn egg. If I add the tagged chicken spawn egg here, it's going to open the door and I can go through and reset it with that. But a normal chicken will not work. Not even a tagged pillager would work. Just the chicken. So let's look a bit into that. So we've got quite a lengthy command block at the top here. Execute positioned 2 blocks above it. So of course it's simple, it's just 1, 2, so this block right here is where the command is going to be run. And we are checking if an entity specified any entity, which is the type of a chicken with the subscribe tag, which is also within a distance equal to or less than 0.75 blocks. That's merely just the best number I could get to properly envelop this whole little block without it bleeding out to the side. But if there was a chicken within this little hole, then it's going to run set block to light blue concrete, which is essentially just changing this block here to a redstone block to change the pistons. And then after that, we're killing the chicken with the tag subscribed, because you don't want to accidentally kill every chicken, so we need to specify it's got the tag. So I spawn the chicken, and it opens. And that's pretty much the basics of what I wanted to show with the most useful features of command blocks, especially the conditions and tags. They are the things I probably use the most out of everything. I know it probably got confusing in a couple of areas, but if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments, and I'll try and explain them the best I can. The next video is going to go over scoreboards, which was a very scary topic for me at first, but it's not that bad, and it helped you do really cool stuff like this. Of course, that is just an example of what you can make. I'm not going to be covering that specific thing in the next video because there is a lot of commands that go behind it, and it will take at least an hour to get through it all. But if you have any suggestions of what you want me to cover, whether it's with this world or with the previous world and basic command block stuff, you can let me know in the comments.